Hello, Michael Snyder here. On your screen, you are looking at a magazine cover which was just published by The Economist. And The Economist, it's important to understand, The Economist magazine is a mouthpiece for the global elite. And every year they publish a big article about what they kind of see coming, the trends that they believe will be big in the year ahead. And they've done it again this year. And they've just published the cover for the magazine. And in the past, many of the trends that they've identified have been very prescient, if you will, that they've been right on target. And of course, that the global elite very much have a tremendous amount of influence over world events. So it's very important to understand what they're thinking, what their outlook is, what they think is coming in the year ahead, because they have a lot of influence and they have a perspective on what's coming that your ordinary person isn't going to have. And they're very interested in pushing world events in a particular direction, of course, to advance their agenda. But The Economist, for many, many years, has been one of their primary mouthpieces that they use to communicate with one another, to communicate with the world, to express their intentions. But so you're looking on the screen right now. I've got it pulled up on Twitter. And this issue is entitled The World Ahead 2025. And if you just look at the screen and look at kind of the overall image, just based on the overall image, would you say, wow, that is, an image that portrays a cheerful year, a happy year ahead, that everything's going to be great? No, it's very dark. It's very ominous. They're using lots of red, lots of black. And, it's an image that really has kind of a negative feel, a dark, ominous feel, really almost kind of an apocalyptic feel. And then the specific images, if you drill down, and I want to point out a lot of these, of course, right in the center of the screen where I have the mouse pointing, it's Donald Trump. He's right in the middle of it all. And, they kind of he's not smiling in the image. And, it's kind of a grainy image, black and white surrounded by a red square. And so, kind of once again, not a cheerful picture, not a happy picture. And there are several other world leaders on the screen. Up here, we've got Chinese President Xi Jinping as someone they think will be prominent in the year ahead. And down here, we've got that's Vladimir Putin, Russian President Vladimir Putin. And then over here, we've got Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. So we've got, obviously the war in Ukraine, they think will be a major trend because they've got both Putin and Zelensky who are involved. And then, we've got President Xi Jinping. That's another war that's potentially brewing that I've been talking about for a long time. U.S. and China, and we got the whole Taiwan thing and war getting ready to erupt there. Of course, we've already got the war in Ukraine, which is now threatening to go to a new level just today. And I'm going to post an article about this today. Ukraine has fired the long-range missiles. Now that Biden has given the green light, Ukraine has fired the long-range missiles provided by the U.S. deep into Russian territory. Fortunately, Russia has the best anti-missile systems in the world by a wide margin. Most people don't realize this, but shot down 5 of them. The 6th was hit. There were 6 missiles fired. 5 were shot down. Number 6 was hit. And it fell, and it didn't really do much damage at all. So thankfully for that, hopefully this will cause Russians to say, hey, not much damage was done. We're going to show some restraint. But anyway, that's all heating up today. And interestingly, we see a missile right here that I'm pointing out on the screen right now. We see a missile. All right. And right next to the missile, we've got a nuclear symbol. Okay. So nuclear. So this would seem to suggest nuclear conflict, nuclear war. And then over here, where I'm pointing the mouse to, we've got a radiation symbol kind of over an eye, but that's clearly a symbol for nuclear radiation. So what is the Economist trying to tell us? Are they saying they want to push us into nuclear war, that we're headed for nuclear war, that we're headed for nuclear conflict? In fact, right down here, this almost looks like I can't really tell, a mushroom cloud, or what is that? Right beneath Trump, I can't tell, but it's not that clear. But these symbols with the missile, the nuclear symbol right here, and then the nuclear radiation symbol right there in all three of them are close to Trump's head. So is that what they think is coming? Nuclear conflict, nuclear war? Um, that's very alarming. I mean, we've never seen this kind of imagery on an Economist cover before like this. So clearly, very much in their mind is, the missile could be a nuclear missile. It could just be a missile like is being used in the Middle East war right now. But clearly, they have war, they have nuclear on their mind, they have radiation. Clearly, they think that's something. I don't know exactly what they're trying to communicate, but that's troubling. That's creepy. That's weird. In fact, this whole image is just super creepy. Okay, we also, now a few more things I want to point out. Down here at the bottom, we've got this raised fist. It's in red, and then it's outlined in red. And most of you immediately recognize that as the symbol that the left uses for resistance. It was commonly used throughout Trump's first term, and since then has been used all over the world as a symbol of resistance, particularly symbol of resistance to the right. And in this case, it's all in red, which red is the color of anger, of fighting, so this seems to be they're communicating resistance, and resistance against whom? Obviously, it's resistance against Trump. A year of resistance against Trump. And even beyond that, okay, so what will that resistance look like? Protests, civil unrest. I think civil unrest. I totally agree. I find it weird to find myself agreeing with The Economist because we're on diametrically opposed sides of the spectrum. But I agree with The Economist in terms of 2025 will be a year of tremendous civil unrest. Particularly, they're already organizing huge protests for the inauguration. If you'll remember last time, inauguration of 2016, they were setting limos on fire. Things got quite violent with the protest and with the first inauguration of Trump. So will we see something similar? Late January, Trump is inaugurated. Will there be, there's going to be protests. Will we see violence? Will that kind of kick off a systematic series of protests, riots, trouble, civil unrest all over the country? This seems to be a signal of what The Economist is signaling. And I agree, it's going to be a year of civil unrest. I also agree with the missile, a year of war, nuclear radiation. We are on the verge of nuclear conflict. That's where Joe Biden has just pushed us toward. Will Donald Trump be able to do something that pull us back from the brink? I hope so. But that's very, very troubling. Now you look on here, there's another symbol. I'm pointing it to right now. It appears to be a syringe right next to the nuclear missile. A syringe. So for some reason I have trouble with that word, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's filled with liquid. Interestingly, the liquid is red liquid inside here, right inside here. So what is that? What are they trying to communicate to us? Is there going to be some type of are they anticipating pestilence? Whether it's monkeypox, which I just wrote an article about it. It's on the Substack, michaeltsnyder.substack.com. You can find the link below in the description. The first case of the dangerous new strain of monkeypox just appeared in the United States. Has a far, far higher death rate than the other strain that got loose a couple of years ago and spread everywhere. But this one has a much, much higher death rate, spreads much more easily. Is that what they're trying to communicate? Or bird flu, which human cases are now popping up all over the United States. It's been in Canada, on all over the world. We're seeing human cases of the bird flu. Is that what they're suggesting is coming this year? I don't know, but I agree. Once again, it's weird to agree with the Economist, but I agree. Pestilence will be one of the themes of 2025. Then up here in the where they're talking about some things they're going to talk about in the issue, right here it says climate. Time to talk about geoengineering. So where they want to, and of course geoengineering is already happening all over the world. Countries all over the world are monkeying with the weather. There's weather weapons, weather warfare. But they're openly saying, talking about geoengineering right there on the cover of this magazine. I think 2025 will continue with geoengineering, with the really very strange, crazy weather patterns we're seeing all over the globe, where we're just seeing this giant storm hitting the West Coast today as I do this video, where it was a Category 5 atmospheric river, and then this bomb cyclone is developing simultaneously, where the pressure is going to drop so low that it's going to be the equivalent of a Category 4 hurricane, according to one meteorologist that I quoted in the article. And so the just sheer power of this storm that's coming, it's really going to be a huge disaster for the West Coast. Of course, we just saw Hurricane Helene. We've seen so many disasters. So I very much agree, that 2025 is going to be a year of natural disasters, of crazy weather, earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes, all the rest of it. But a couple more things I wanted to point out quickly on this magazine cover. Right here, we've got, not too far from Trump, but we've got the symbol of an eye. Of course, in so many in occult imagery, you'll often see one eye. And in fact, sometimes celebrities, they'll take a photo where they cover up one eye, so they just have one eye for the camera. The symbol of one eye, or the all-seeing eye, interestingly, this appears on the screen to be the right eye. And so what are they trying to communicate there? I don't know, but that's very much going along with the kind of the occultism that is embraced by so many among the global elite. And are they saying we're watching you, or the all-seeing eye, global surveillance? I don't know exactly what they're trying to communicate, but it's very much the kind of thing you would expect from this kind of source. And then over here, right next to it, we've got an hourglass, and with it's being pouring out, and into from the top to the bottom, as in time is running out. And once again, I agree, time is running out. It's much later than most people think that it is, and not only America but the world is running out of time in so many different ways. And so yeah, I think that is a very timely message, for what we are facing. And then we've got arrow pointing down, arrow pointing down, arrow pointing down, but then we've also got some arrows pointing up. So I don't know what that is all about, but potentially economic turmoil, financial turmoil, I don't know. But basically, so many of the things that myself and others have been warning about, and so many things that I do believe will be major themes in 2025, are right here on this magazine cover. And so that's very alarming. That's because the global elite, they're, I've been warning, we're headed into very troubled times, but the global elite appear to believe the same thing. So brace yourself, get prepared for what's ahead, because things could move very, very quickly. As we saw just this week, people were celebrating, oh, Trump won the election, but then all of a sudden things turned on a dime, where Joe Biden said, hey, I'm going to approve long-range missiles to, go into, to be launched into Ukraine. And the Russians are saying, hey, If you do that, you're at war with us, and we reserve the right to use nuclear weapons. But the global elite are sharing this, and I pulled up this tweet by Alex Soros. He's basically taken over for George Soros at this point in terms of their empire. But, responding to the Wall Street Journal reporting about this, about the long range missiles which will be used to strike inside Russia, well, his response was, "This is great news!" Exclamation point. Where he loves it. He loves it. He's like, yeah, let's have war. It's so funny because you go back to the days of the Vietnam War, and the left, they were the anti-war movement. They were all against the war. They wanted peace. They were all about peace, and they wanted to end the wars. But now, fast forward to 2024, the radical left are the biggest warmongers. So we've seen this dramatic shift, but the global elite, they love it. They want to get Russia. They're like, oh, Russia will never use their nuclear weapons. They're totally bluffing. Let's get them. Let's get them. Let's hammer them. And they're taking us right in the direction of World War III. So, I've been criticized for being emotional about this, but this World War III we're talking about. If there's a full-blown nuclear war with the United States and Russia, which is the path that we are on right now, let's pray that Trump can stop it or pull us out of it, or do something can keep us from going down this road. But this is the road we're on right now: the road to World War III, the road to nuclear weapons being used. Between the United States and Russia and other countries too. This is the path we're on, and if that happens, it's the end of our society. It's the end. Hundreds of millions of people will die. We do not want that. And so if it's oh, Michael, you're being emotional. Yeah, we've got to stop this, because once the missiles start flying, it's too late. And hundreds of millions of people will die. So we've got to stop this. But instead, the global elite, they're pushing for it. They love it. They say, this is great news. This is great news. We're going to have World War III. We're going to kill hundreds of millions of people. No, we've got to speak out now. We've got to stand up and do something. Because the hour is late. The hour is late. We live in a time of wars and rumors of wars. We've got war in the Middle East, war in Ukraine. China's threatening to invade Taiwan. North Korea is threatening to invade South Korea. We've got to stand up and do something about this while we still can. So thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Please share, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. All those things help us get the videos, more views, get them out to more people, so we can sound the alarm, so we can share the truth with as many people around the world as we possibly can. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting all that we do. And I'll talk to you again in the next video.